Hello and welcome to Soul Steps. I'm David Gallagher. I recently read the fascinating story of a man named Carl Allenby. And Carl is now Dr. Carl Allenby. And Dr. Allenby remembers growing up in the east side of Cleveland in a very impoverished neighborhood. His father was a minister and a door-to-door salesman. His mom was a stay-at-home mom with his 5 siblings and him. But it was always a struggle. He remembers the many, many days and sometimes weeks without power, gas, lights, and how dependent they were on welfare to survive. But he remembers at a very young age, he had the thought of wanting to become a doctor. Well, he said, I remember having a desire at a young age to become a doctor, but my life circumstances led me to a much different place. And he talked about, he said, from my own experience, it's very difficult to focus on your education when your mind is filled with challenges outside the walls of the school. Food insecurity, safely making it to and from school, affording decent clothing and basic school supplies, or just trying to fit in, took precedent over studying and getting good grades. Interestingly, as he remembers his upbringing, he said, my saving grace was our strong family structure. My siblings and I always stuck together and weathered our hardships as a team. Well, Dr. Allenby went on and learned some mechanics. He opened his own auto repair business at 19 years old, and it exploded. It thrived. But he remembers hitting a point in his early 30s where he just needed to do something else. And so he enrolled in classes in night school. And he was 34 years old when he started at Ursuline College. And it was his next to last class before graduating, and he was required to take biology. So take biology he did. He was fascinated and ultimately decided to take pre-med courses. He started volunteering in hospitals, emergency department, urology, pediatrics. Everything he immersed himself in medically just further convinced Dr. Allenby that that was his life calling and passion. And I believe it was 2006, so 16 years after he started at Ursuline College in night classes, 16 years later, he was a full-fledged practicing emergency room doctor. Wonderful story. But he says this. He says, you need to plan your work and work your plan. Your sacrifices today will produce advantages for tomorrow. And he says, so often I run into former classmates, neighbors, customers, and friends, and it's always nice to lend a helping hand to those in their time of need, whether their car or their health. Can you imagine your next door neighbor being both a skilled auto mechanic and a doctor, medical doctor? But Dr. Allenby says that as he encounters people and looks at himself, he says people are limited mostly by the constraints and limitations they put on themselves. He believes that almost everyone, and we know that everyone has roadblocks and challenges that can prevent them from becoming successful. But he says what matters most is your attitude in facing those challenges. I just want to say that what are the dreams that you've had maybe from a long time ago. Did you have dreams as a child that you've never fulfilled? Dr. Allenby became a full-fledged medical doctor at age 47 after having previously had a whole nother career in auto mechanics. But what are those things stirring in you that have always drawn you? Just as Dr. Allenby exposed himself intentionally and purposefully to medicine and all things medical, and it just brought him alive, brought him to life. What are those things that bring you to life that maybe you've not taken steps toward? For whatever reasons, life circumstances, the poverty you grew up in, all the things that distracted you, like getting to and from school safely or not being bullied. What are those obstacles you've faced that have prevented you from following your heart and following your passions? I just want to encourage you today, from Dr. Allenby's story, don't let anything hold you back. Don't let self-imposed limitations and constraints keep you from going for and chasing after your dreams. Isaiah chapter 41 is about God's words to his people Israel. But they resonate for us today when we know God, when we serve him, and we have a relationship with Jesus. But God says to you and me today, "For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, 'Do not fear, I will help you.'" Can you see that picture of a loving father grabbing his child's hand and saying, "Don't be afraid, honey. I'm going to help you. If you even begin to stumble, I've got you. You will not fall. You may stumble. You won't fall. I've got you." And then, of course, in Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Call out to God to help you, to give you the faith and the belief, the passion to pursue the things that maybe you've only dreamt about. But just remember, God can take dreams and make them come true. Thanks for watching today. You can visit us at soulsteps.org. If you have prayer requests or just want us to lift you up in prayer, write us at hello@soulsteps.org. And thanks too for remembering us in your support. We appreciate it. God bless you.